And welcome back to Property Palz. My name is Ben.
And my name is Marcus.
And we are so excited to be back for another episode of the podcast.
What number episode, Ben?
We're up to number 23.
23!
Wow,
23.
Time flies when you're just looking at beautiful property
Ben,
markets.
23, I'm very proud of us.
I'm super proud of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm more proud of? Our beautiful 12 followers.
Yeah, well, I thought it was 13.
I thought it was 13 too, but obviously it got a little bit too intense for one of them.
I know, and they're like, you know what? Don't want any
Doesn't
Property
matter,
Palz magic.
because we love and care about every single one of you, and you're getting the absolute insights to the best and coolest and most interesting property on the market.
And our TikTok's going off. This week, Ben's going to pop some up, so
That's
please
right.
watch that. Now,
So
Ben.
like and subscribe. We're getting under 20 minutes today. That's what our aim is. Let's get into it. Number 5, Marcus. Now we're going to the most premium suburb, or on par with the most premium suburb in Melbourne. East Melbourne.
And I think you said on par, like you got your Turaks, you got your Brightons, you've got your East Melbourne.
I think Toorak and East Melbourne, they're kind of on
Yeah.
par as the most premium. Then there's a couple other ones just underneath them. But this one here, Marcus, this is a famous property. It is
Ben.
150 Clarendon Street.
Yes.
Now this is a really interesting one because it's on level 1. It's unit 106. It is a 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car.
Sold!
That's it. It's an EOI. And it's quoted for $1.75 million to $1.85 million.
So Ben, a 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car for $1.8 million.
And what's more interesting,
Wow.
Marcus, there's a couple of things that you will be very interested in, but this one sold for $1.675 million in October 2015.
Jeez.
So
What?
my guess is that, at that time, that's not too much appreciation.
Oh, Ben,
over
what year? What year?
October 2015.
Is that before it was built, or when was it built?
No, so this one here, I'll give a little bit of background for the building. Salter Group developed this, which is a notorious and very well known, yes, quite a notorious
I would just
big
call
developer in Melbourne. Anyway, they've developed half of the stuff around where Victoria Gardens is, and this was probably one of their most premium
It is the
developments,
premium,
if not
yeah.
the most premium, and it is still to this day regarded as one of the best, if not, maybe one of the best East Melbourne apartments that are on market.
I think it's one of the East Melbourne buildings where everyone's like, 150 Clarendon Street.
right.
Wow, you've got views of Fitzroy Gardens, facing the city, so it's very, very premium.
Yeah, premium. And so to the point of where when they market it, they talk about it having 6-star luxury, and it's a 12-storey, 88 apartment building that was built on the old maternity hospital. And I did a little bit of research here.
Did you?
Surprise, surprise. And supposedly they used part of the old structure of this maternity hospital in the current building. Now, I'm not sure if that's the podium or anything.
Well, it's definitely, I'm pretty sure it is the podium included, but it might be they use the lift core and also maybe some of the levels.
Supposedly. But anyway, this one here, it's a beautiful building. The building, it's got a 24-hour concierge, 25-metre indoor heated pool, sauna, gym, cinema, and even a 10,000 wine bottle cellar.
Wow,
in there
to share.
To share with everyone.
I also know someone who was born in this hospital before it was converted.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
They should buy this apartment.
They should.
That's the circle of life.
Yes.
The circle of life. Anyway, let's keep going. Now, this one here is very interesting, Marcus, because we're going to pop up the floor plans right now. Now, what's the first thing that you see, Marcus, when you see these floor plans?
Well, Ben, the first thing I see is what a lovely living room.
You're right, it's a beautiful living room, a nice island bench there, you've got a meals area, but wait a second, where's the bedroom?
I wonder, hey Ben, there's nothing wrong with that bedroom. It's got a window, doesn't it?
It does, but what's so interesting, Marcus, is that this one here, its window doesn't actually face outside. So for some people, that's a big setback.
So if I'm getting changed in my bedroom and then people are, let's say, entertaining in the meals in the living area.
Well, they get dinner and a show.
Well, they should be paying for that show, Ben.
But it is a good point, Marcus. Now, for some people, they want from their bedroom to have a window which actually faces outwards. It's not
Most
like
people
the
do.
light comes through the living room area. But, we were chatting about this, and it's got the ensuite. It's a very big bedroom, 4.4 by 3.3 metres. It's got an ensuite, so a toilet and a shower, a double area where you wash your hands.
Basins.
That's the technical word for it. And then it's also got a powder room, which is basically a dunny or a toilet outside of there as well. So that can be for all the rest of the people when they come in here. Not as nice because you walk through the entry and you're straight looking at the toilet, but you can't have everything, I guess.
I just think the other thing you need to point out is that the windows, there's no actual balcony. There's 2 window openings, and they're not massive, Ben.
So
Like, it's
pop the
lovely.
windows
You
up
see
here.
the gardens. You're on what, the first level, is it?
The first
So
level.
you're quite close to the road, so it might be a tiny bit noisy. I know
And
they've
Clarendon
recently dropped
right.
the speed limit on Clarendon Street from 60 to 40 k's an hour.
Make sure you watch out because you'll get a speed ticket if you
I
don't
haven't
do
got
it.
one yet,
Me
but
neither,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I know that there definitely would be people that have gotten it. But you're right, there's no balcony. So that nowadays, like, I guess the only way that you could do that is if you're just using an existing structure.
Shell, yeah.
So some people will find that a bit of an issue. Also, you don't get the X factor CBD view. I think you still probably do. I'm just
Maybe
looking
if you
at
poke
photo.
your head out.
Probably through the trees, you'll still see the CBD, and it is a beautiful view from some of those upper levels.
How big is it, Ben?
It's 103 square meters. So Marcus, come on, do the maths for me. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I didn't even look. Is it 17k per square metre?
Oh wow! Tell you what, that is speedy. Now, so on the lower end of the range, it's 17k a square metre. On the upper end of the range, it's $18,000 a metre. That is some big dollars
It's a
to
big
be
dollars.
paying for an apartment. But then again, you're East Melbourne. You're in one of the most premium, if not the most premium, apartment building available at the moment in East Melbourne. Very attractive. And would you believe, Marcus, back in 2019, the sub-penthouse in this building went on market asking a whopping, we're going to put whopping up here, $46 million. It's 1,400 square metres, so approximately they were asking 30k a square metre.
I remember that.
But then a few years later on, back last year, I think it might have sold, but they dropped it by $16 million to about, I think it was about $30 million, and I think it might have sold there. Very quick maths.
Last thing I just want to say is it's a little bit dated. It reminds me of our home from when we grew up in terms of the finishes, the kitchen, etc.
That's right.
So I guess for Wednesday, do you think good value or do you think it's overpriced?
I think for probably a downsizer that wants to be in East Melbourne, that doesn't want to be paying $3 million for a house, and they want to be in a safe location. Maybe they're scared of heights or something. They don't want to be too high off the ground. This could be very attractive. Probably not for me, at least for me at the very moment, but maybe when I'm a bit older on, this would be something that might be attractive.
Cool,
also, Bait Smart design as well.
Bait Smart's good.
There we go. Okay, number 4, Marcus, let's go.
Benjamin Button, let's have a look. What's number 4? 9 Shield Street, Flemington. Now, Ben, this is a 3-bed, 1-bath, 0 car, asking $1.15 to $1.2 million, 211 square metres of land, and thus it's approx 5.6k per square metre of land.
Thus is a very interesting observation,
Ben, well,
Marcus.
it's hard when you do really well in English.
This is a beautiful property, Marcus.
It is a beautiful property, Ben, and why do you think it's beautiful?
Just when I'm looking at that external facade of the building, like, that is, by definition, I think it's quite attractive.
Well, I do agree. I'm just looking here if I put it down. Yes, guess when it was built? Have a guess.
100 years ago?
1880, Ben.
Wow, so even longer than that.
1880.
Wow.
It's almost 140 years ago, yeah?
Wow. Gosh.
So it's got a heritage overlay, so assuming it'll be heritage. I love those, I don't know what they're called up the top of the property on the front of the facade, but it looks very, very cool. So Gen Res Zone, heritage overlay, built in 1880, as I said. It's called Nathan's Terrace. So nestled in Flemington Hill, it's a solid brick Victorian Italianate terrace. Now, I love Flemington Hill. It's got those plane trees, which we love.
It's the most premium area of Flemington.
Yeah, it's the most premium area of Flemington.
One of the most premium in the West too, as well.
Offers a combination of original, I guess, elegance, and I think it's inside contemporary designed as well. But how are those timber ceilings, Ben? Let's have a look at those.
Ceilings, and I'm looking just on the top of it as well. You've got 2 lines on the very top of
I should live there.
Yeah, I think it was good for you, but that is beautiful.
The timber ceilings and the fireplace, Ben.
It feels very warm.
It does.
Right? Like I'm seeing that picture and I can see the fireplace. It feels very warm and actually a very nice and happy place to be. Like the timber floorboards, the timber roof. It looks beautiful. The kitchen,
a bit
bench
dated.
Top, a little bit dated, but then again, it was built in 1880, I guess.
No, all right, a bit renovated since then. All right,
Probably.
I was just going to say is that if someone renovated this like full really, really well, modernised it, the kitchen, it would be a lovely home. At this stage it is too, but I reckon if they put a lot of money into it as well, I wonder if you could change the back, because Ben, when we look at the actual floor plan, we see that the bathroom is at the back, and you'd have to go, if you want to take a bit of a whiz when people are in the living room, you've got to go from the top bedrooms all the way down the back, through the kitchen area, through this laundry, all the way to the bathroom.
There is a couple of setbacks with this property. It looks stunning. I think interiors are gorgeous. You're right. The kitchen, maybe a bit of a touch-up here and there, but you only have 1 bathroom.
Yep.
And that bathroom is at the back of the property, which for some people, walking from the front rooms all the way to the back could be a bit of an issue. It does have a toilet outside as well, though. So
well, I guess that's for men when...
if you have one family member that do some real stinky ones, get out there. But also
During
no
lockdown,
car.
that
No car.
would have been...
Oh, dear me. But no car as well, so you've got to park out the front though, and you probably could get a permit.
I'm sure there would be a permit because it was built in 1880. But the one thing I just want to say, you can come in off the back laneway, walking wise. I looked into it. I'm not sure if you can get a car off there. I don't think you can because of the size of the laneway. But it's interesting that there's a back passage. If you look at the Google Maps spin, and it's also west-facing backyard, north-facing living room currently. Pretty good. Interesting shaped block and only 211 square metres. Oh no, from the top. I was going to do it on the map. If you zoomy, you see, is it?
I don't know.
Zoom in.
Just keep going.
Doesn't know how to work the lappy. Racecourse road trams, shops and cafes around the corner. It's also walking distance to Newmarket Station. We love Newmarket Station. The rear laneway, we've talked about that. The bathroom. What do you think for the value, Ben? 1.2 million?
What's the median house price in Flemington?
The median house price, just from the top of my head, 1.15.
So it's smack bang in the middle of that. Yeah, I think, that's a beautiful property. There will be people that fall in love with that look. The car and the bathroom could be a bit of an issue, but then again, the look is much better than just your average house, I would say.
Yeah, what do you think, Ben?
I was thinking that is a very nice house.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on. Come on. Now, on to number 3. Now, we are going up to Brunswick, a very hip suburb. Very cool, and this is 27 Wilson Avenue, Brunswick.
We know this one well, don't we, Ben?
I think we know this one. I think we probably already reviewed one in this one, or it might have been at 9, I think, Wilson Avenue. It was one of the other Neo Metro developments. Now, this is Unit 205. It is a 2-bed, 1 bath, 1 car, and it's being quoted for $640,000 to $685,000.
When was it built, Ben?
This one, it was built recently. I think it was only built, what is it?
4 years ago?
A couple of years ago, yeah. I'm not
4
even
years
sure
ago?
if that's actually off the plan, that sale. I think it's only recently been finished.
Oh.
So Neo
I'll check for
Metro,
you.
it is a notorious, a very well-known
Small vocabulary.
local Melbourne developer. They've been around for 30 plus years. They do really nice quality, sustainable, community-focused developments.
Yep.
They've done but they've done a lot of the stuff in Brunswick, and it's actually a really, really lovely area to be around there. It's got a good community feel. This is a Claire Cousin designed.
Interiors?
I think, yes, interiors,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
And MAP, M-A-A-P,
We do
exterior
like a bit of
architects. I think it's quite a nice looking building.
Well, Claire Cousins did the last one, so this might be the same building
Well,
that we looked at. Or does she usually do Neo Metros?
I think she did the other one. She actually did the other Wilson Avenue one that
right.
they did as well.
Right.
Now, it's 7.5 star Nathan, so that's extremely
nice.
sustainable, which is very good.
That
The
is,
apartment faces west, so it might be a little bit hot during the day, but we'll get to that about the windows in a second. It's got communal barbecue, garden, dining room area, communal living. It's near RMIT. That's absolutely ripper. And it last sold for $625,000 in July 2019. Now, the quote range of what it is at the moment, that is still in quite an attractive first home buyer range, I think.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that
has
was
been
why
the
this
savings.
one kind of tickled my fancy.
Did it tickle your fancy?
Yes, it did. Now, when you look at this, Marcus, what's your feeling about these, the layout and the apartments?
Yes, Ben, before we just go to that, I'm just looking at the map. So it was built in 2019 by the looks of it, and I'm just looking at when it was completed. So it looks like it was being built between 2017 to early 2019, and looks like it was finished perhaps late 2019. So perhaps right at the end, just before they finished it, it was purchased.
Okay.
Off the plan, I would say then.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But look, it's a good area to be in, and it's basically a fairly new apartment. What do you think of the layout here?
Well, in terms of a layout perspective, it's perfect. I think it's, well, when I say perfect, it's the bedrooms are separated, which is a tick. The only things that I don't like about where the bedrooms are located is that both of them open straight up into the living dining area. So sometimes you prefer if it's opened maybe to a central corridor, a corridor that leads to the living room, the dining room. The other element, Ben, is do you want to explain about the little? What's the
just
name?
on that point, I guess. But when you're talking about these smaller apartments and and they've got them separated, they will both open up onto the living room. But I kind of see what you mean in terms of the master or the main bedroom, where it has that tiny little study area, which is right in terms of in front of where you walk in. I guess it's okay because then when you're studying, you can leave that door open and you still feel accessible to the dining room. You've got kind of the views there from the windows as well. It's got an island bench kitchen, which is very attractive, I think. And the bathroom, so it's not an ensuite bathroom, you both need to walk out of it, but I guess that if it's only got one bathroom, which is a bit of a setback, one bathroom, so you have to share it.
It's a lot of money for, sorry, not a lot of money. I think it's just one bed. I look at the other apartments that we've reviewed before, 2 bed, 2 baths, and they're similar quantum. You're getting 2 beds, 2 baths. The second bedroom here,
$640 in Brunswick. I'm not sure with the separator. See, I don't know.
I know one that's sold in Collingwood for just about that price. That's 2 bed, 2 bath.
Honestly, nowadays, and I follow Collingwood very closely, that if you're buying for $640 or $650 and you've got 2 bed, 2 bath, a separated bedroom, a car, a good outlook and everything, I reckon you can buy it for that if it's a good apartment.
It's right now.
Yeah, right now.
And how big is it?
So this one here, I don't know what the interior is. I couldn't find it out. But look, I think you're probably looking at around 10K a square metre, I'd say.
Do you want to explain the bedroom size, Ben? Just like
so, one's 2.9 by 3.2. Ideally, you want a minimum 3 metres for it, but 2.9 by 3.2, it's probably acceptable. The other one's 3 by 3 with plus little study. It's a little bit small. You'd like a little bit bigger, but I think it's acceptable, particularly given you've got that island kitchen bench, you've got a storage cage, and you've got 1 car. I think it's pretty good.
I'm just going to check this quickly, the size for us, Ben. The other thing is interesting about the floor plan. I don't often see. I'm trying to remember. Have you ever seen the car space have the dimensions on it before?
Yeah. Often they put the dimensions, and that's
Must
quite
have
good.
Been listening.
So car parks, generally it's going to be 2.6 metres wide and it's 3 metres wide, so that's a very wide car space.
Generous, yeah.
It's a little bit short. Normally they're 5 metres or 4.9 metres long, so it's a bit of a chubby car, but not too tall.
Yeah, it's chunky.
Chunky.
It says 63 square metres. Now, Ben, do you think it would be 63 square metres plus 8 square metre balcony or 10 square metre balcony?
I think it's probably 63 internal there.
Yeah,
okay. So it's about just over 10K a square metre, 10.5 square metre. I think value-wise it's probably
not bad.
okay.
Pretty good size in the end.
Very good. Anyway, let's jump on to number 3.
How are we going time-wise, Benjamin?
Come on, we've got 2.5 minutes.
All right, 24 Henry Street, Abbotsford. 2 bed, 1 bath, no car. Asking 1 to 1.1 million, built in 1900, Ben.
Wow.
1900. Sold for 1.02 million, October 2022. Ben,
there's something special about this one,
There
Marcus.
is something special about this. Even, they're asking 1.1 to 1.1.
Yeah.
It last sold for 1.02 in 2020, which I looked into had permits at the time. I'm not sure what kind of permits they had, but they definitely have permits now when they're selling the property, and that is for I'm pretty sure it is a 4-bedroom. Wait, where is it?
The current permit?
Yeah, the current permit.
The current permit's 6 levels.
So 6 levels, it is 6 levels. I'm just going to bring it up here because I have been...
Let's pop it up here, just what it is here. Now, this one here...
6 level, 4-bedroom, contemporary residence with rooftop pool and terrace. Now, Ben, it's a commercial 2 zone. What's that mean?
So commercial 2, which we talked about, I think not last episode, but probably the episode before, means it's for a commercial use, which is like an office or some retail uses, but not for residential. However, we talked about also existing uses. You can see the street, there's quite a lot of houses that are there already. And because this currently is a house, it means that you can still use it as a house. But what's interesting is that you can't just build it and then sell off all those levels as apartments because the existing use is only for one residence.
So it's one. So for example, it's not determined by floor area, it's determined by, hey, is this a single residence?
And so this is a single residence in terms of the render of the proposed development. That is packing.
That is a banger, Ben.
That is a big...
That is packing. I like that. That's a good... So, commercial 2 zone, freestanding. Sorry, just coming back to here. Residence. The inside photos at the moment of the current property, they look livable, perhaps apart from the bathroom if you go through them. I think it'd be a knockdown rebuild, but it's interesting. Why are they selling it? Don't know. Is it construction costs are quite high at the moment, still high? Is it too expensive to build? It's not really a large property in terms of width. Is it awkward to build? I don't know. I'm just speculating. It's quite skinny.
Construction costs at the moment are very expensive. I think for someone who's going to also too, that's a very specific use, a 6-story residence. Like I'm not sure if there's a lift in there.
hopefully.
I don't even know if there's a lift in there.
There'll have
like
to be, surely.
there's not.
You'd be getting too
If
much
there's not,
exercise.
that's it. So you can see that for someone it's a very specific use. It's very unique. Look, someone might be attracted to it. I think the location is pretty good.
Too close to Hoddle Street?
I would say for if you're going to build a 6-level house for yourself, probably a little bit. Like if you're going to be able to afford to build a 6-level house, you probably can consider a larger 2-story house or a larger 3-story house. So
agreed.
you can see the market is small for this, but there might be something.
That's actually a really good point, though. If you're building a 6-story house, if you have that type of money, would you pick this location? Would you pick a 6-story house, or would you just go 2 stories? I think that's a valid point.
Yeah. Anyway.
Orientation, Ben?
Oh, what orientation is it?
Have a think.
It is,
Sorry, I mean, have a look.
it is west-facing front, rear is east-facing. So you're going to get sun. Oh, and then the bedroom is south-facing, and living room is north-facing. You got all sides.
Would I buy it, Ben, for $1.1 million? No, I wouldn't buy it for me, personally. I'm not sure if I'd stomach the build costs on it.
But with that said, though, Marcus, I don't think the build costs, the permit actually is adding too much to this property for that sort of price. Do we know what the land is?
Yeah, it is 200 and... Oh, sorry, 1 second. It is 115 square metres.
115, so they're asking 10K a square metre here.
I forgot to say that, yeah.
It's a little bit... maybe it's a little bit pricey for this location, but you can see what's interesting next door, which will pop up the will pop up the photo of the property where it's marking out the size. Next door to it, you can see has been renovated the back of it. It's a 2-story, so it looks like quite a nice house. And then to the other side, it's like a warehouse. So I don't think they're necessarily factoring maybe it is more just land cost or with the existing house.
It's last sold in 2016 for 775k, Ben.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go on to the next one. So not a bad option, but different.
Number 1, now we're going to glitzy South Yarra, Marcus. And
Where is South Yarra,
I
man?
have one, it's south of the Yarra.
Got him!
Now this one, it has one massive balcony or terrace is on the floor plan, which you are going to be very excited to see. It is unit 2703 at 3 Yarra Street, South Yarra. Now this is a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-car apartment, and it can carry anything. So it's a really, it's a good-looking apartment. It was completed in 2015. It's got 94 square metres internal. So how's the maths, Marky?
190 external. So you're telling me there's 100 square metres external balcony?
Yeah, that's right. It's a massive balcony.
That's big, Ben.
And in this case, bigger is better. Now, it was developed by Little Projects, which you might ring a little bell in terms of tall little.
Big projects.
But this is a big project. In fact, this is the biggest one in the in kind of the South Yarra, the Claremont Street or Forest Hill precinct, which was rezoned. But that's true. Your Capital Grand is a little bit bigger. This is the second biggest one. But in that Forest Hill precinct, Claremont Street, Yarra Street, it was rezoned, I think probably about 15 years ago, where you could do high dense developing, and then everything just got developed very quickly. There's lots of apartment buildings and developments. Greystar, which is the world's largest build-to-rent developer, has their landmark First Melbourne project, and there's a lot going on. This building itself, I think the design for a big building is actually quite acceptable and quite nice. Okay. It's a Rothy Lohman exterior design, plus architect interior design, 30 levels.
Who's did the interiors?
Plus architect.
Oh, plus architect. Okay.
So they did the interiors. And this one here, it's been quoted for $900,000 to $990,000. So what's that? It's approximately $10,000 a square metre, and it's sold for $947,136 in July 2012.
Is it value then now?
That's a good point, and that's what I was thinking when I saw that. If you bought that back then, it hasn't appreciated at all. Like, not even $1. Well, maybe if it sells within that range, it hasn't really appreciated.
Because you paid stamps and
yeah, that's right, and you paid stamp duty on it at the time too as well, which would have been a little bit lower there because you would have bought it off the plan. But for someone, they might go, you know what? At $10,000 a square metre, I'm going to have a view which will never be built out. It's next to the train station, maybe a little bit noisy, but hopefully a higher.
There'd be a party one. But Ben, can I just ask before we've got? Let's go the layout. Have we talked about the layout?
Pop up the layout. Let's have a look.
This is good. The bedrooms are separated. The interesting thing is your main bedroom, 3.2 by 3.1 with ensuite. Great. facing, what is it, facing east, is it? Or west?
So it is
West.
facing west, so maybe a
West.
little bit sunny in the afternoon.
That's fine though. But I guess the living room and the dining room are facing west and
South. But then again, you got this, you got a nice view.
Yeah.
And you got the kitchen bench there, ensuite, the bathroom. It's a little bit hard for the other person in that other room with the sliding door to walk around.
Good old
to get to the
slidey,
bathroom.
hey?
And although it's an angled wall, but it's a bigger bedroom, so it's probably forgiving in that sense.
Then sometimes with a big deck, it's quite hard because when it's like bigger, but you can't see down to the ground. So sometimes people prefer because the smaller deck is a bit more usable a bit more smaller and usable.
If you have a view, and you're right, we're going to pop up the...
Hold up. Oh, wait a minute. Something's not right. All right, Ben. So the balcony, the terrace for this one, it's quite big. Sometimes big decks are better, but in this instance, Ben, I don't like the big deck because you can't see down sometimes, because,
That's right.
and you prefer to see down. Smaller decks are more usable.
And we'll pop the photo up here from the bedroom where you can see the deck. It actually does block a little bit of your view, but you're probably high enough up that you get the sky, and you get the view, the beautiful view. Also, they're kind of pretty much floor-to-ceiling windows.
And so would you say you prefer smaller or bigger decks?
Bigger decks.
Bigger decks?
Bigger long decks, so that you have a really long deck, but you get a nice view. Tandem car park, a bit annoying if you're the person that's parked in there, but overall I think this is pretty attractive for under $1 million, $10,000 a square metre, unobstructed, awesome views, South Yarra, hustling and bustling and blitzy area.
Blow the house down.
And you just got a massive party terrace.
I think it's great value for it's like a penthouse, right? It's like a sub-penthouse.
It is not the penthouse, but it's because the building steps in, you get that awesome terrace.
So Ben, which one would you buy out of all of those if you had to live in it?
I think the Clarendon Street one. I think that massive terrace would be awesome.
Wait, Clarendon Street?
Oh, sorry, Claremont Street.
Oh, Claremont, yeah, Claremont. I was going to say, there's no terrace in Clarendon.
Yeah, you're right.
But yes, South Yarra. So Ben, overall, good session today. I liked it.
Loved it. Oh, we got in 20 minutes, did we? Maybe next week. Tune in next week to watch our 20-minute episode. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, and press notifications, and we'll see you later on. See ya. Bye.